Today we're going to talk about subtract within 20. We're also going to talk about subtraction using a 10 frame and how we can show subtraction on a 10 frame. So let's take a look at our first question. 18 subtract 6 equals something. The first thing we need to do is we need to build 18 on a 10 frame. Well, actually, we need more than one 10 frame if we're building 18. How many do we need? Yes, we need 2. We're going to fill one of them all up with 10 counters, and our second one we're going to put 8 counters. Here we have 18. When I do subtraction using a 10 frame, I like to show my work. And if I show my work, I can use a line or a cross, or I can even remove the counters if I had them in front of me. But for today, let's cross them out. How many am I going to cross out if my question is 18 subtract 6? Exactly. I'm going to cross out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. This shows 18 subtract 6. And what's my answer? Take a look. Were you thinking 18 subtract 6 equals 12? Exactly. We've still got one full 10 frame with 10 and 2 extra counters on the second one. So 18 subtract 6 equals 12. Right, it's time for you to have a go. You're going to practice subtraction using a 10 frame. I'm going to give you the question 16 take away 7. Now you can pause here and draw your own 10 frame or 10 frames showing 16 take away 7. Or you can wait one more second and I'll build it for you and then have a pause. It's up to you. Here's the 10 frame. 2 10 frames actually, with 16 inside, which looks like 10 and 6 more. Remember, pause here and have a go. Right. Do you remember how we can show subtraction? Exactly. We can draw an X through it. We could remove the counters. But today I'm going to show you by just drawing a line through them. And how many am I going to draw a line through? Did you say 7? Yes. So starting at the bottom, I'm going to draw 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Take a look. What's the answer to 16 subtract 7? Did you see 9? Absolutely. And I'm kind of curious. Did you have to count each of them, or did you just know it was 9? Interesting. Once again, it's time for you to have a go. Here are 3 questions. Can you work out the subtractions? Pause here and then come back when you think you've got the answers. Ready? For the first one, we have 15 counters and we need to take away or subtract 6. Did you do this? Was your answer 9? Well done. Second question, 16 subtract 8. And the answer is 8. And number 3, we've got 14 counters, but we need to subtract 9. How many did you get? Did you get 5? Well done. Did you know that rather than just using a 10 frame or two 10 frames, we could also use a number line to work out the answers? Let's take a look at both of these. Here's our question. 14 take away 9 is something. Now, we could build 14 and we could show by crossing out 9. Or we could think about a number line and we could begin at the number 14 and we could count backwards. When will we know when to stop? Well, we'd count back 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what number do we land on? 5. 14 take away 9 is 5. Oh, here's a story about Ron and some plums. Ron has 14 plums. He eats 6 plums. How many plums does Ron have left? Well, I want to make sure we've got 14, so that's 10 and 4 more. Yes, I've got 14. If he eats 6 plums, how could I show that? Right, I could draw an X through them. And I would have to calculate 14 take away 6 equals something. There's our 14. Let's start crossing out. How many do we cross out? 6, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He eats 6 plums. How many does he have left? I see 8. But let's double check on our number line. 14 is where we start. And we begin by counting back. We make 6 backward jumps of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we end up on 8. Yes, I remember. I saw 8 plums at the top. So 14 take away 6 is 8. That's how many plums Ron has left. Ron has 8 plums left. We're going to use the same question, only this time we're going to do something a little bit different. So stay tuned. Ron has 14 plums. He eats 6 plums. How many plums does Ron have left? Remember in the last one, we actually drew out the plums. But just to show clearly that we have 14, we looped 10 of them. 10 plus 4 is 14. And as in the last question, we also used a number line. We began at 14. So nothing's changed so far. And actually, our calculation hasn't changed either. It's going to be 14, subtract the 6 plums that he ate, which will give us how many plums Ron has left. Now remember before, on our number line, we counted back 1 at a time, 6 jumps, until we came to our answer. This time, I want to show you something a little different. We can cross off 1, 2, 3, 4 plums, which leaves us with 10. And we can show that as 1 jump on our number line, like this, 1 jump of 4. But remember, we're not finished yet. He didn't eat just 4 plums, he ate 6. So we need to still count back. We need to show one more, one jump, and one more, another jump. Each of these jumps are equal to 1. 4, 5, 6. We counted back 6, and we ended up with the number 8. So our answer to 14 subtract 6 is 8. Same answer, just a slightly different method. And we know now that Ron has 8 plums left. Does that make sense? Can you see the difference? Oh, good. It's time for you to have a go. Here's a question for you. Lauren has 13 buttons in her sewing box. She sews 6 buttons on her shirt. Now how many buttons does Lauren have left? Before you pause, I'm going to ask you to draw the buttons out and try it on a number line. And then come back and we'll compare the way we figured this out. Right, here we go. As I mentioned before, I wanted you to draw pictures and use a number line. So let's start. Let's draw Lauren's 13 buttons that were in her sewing box. And once again, using a number line, let's have a start point of 13. Now, in order to show that there are 13 buttons that we drew, let's make it really clear. Let's loop 10 and show that 13 is the same as 10 and 3 more. And now let's think about our calculation. What are we going to do to solve this? Well, we need to think about 13, take away 6. That will tell us how many buttons Lauren has left. First things first, let's begin to cross them off. We have to cross off 6. Let's begin. 1, 2, 3. And just like with Ron's plums, we're going to show this as one jump on our number line. Is that what you did? There's one jump of 3, which brings us down to 10. And we can see that because that's how many we looped at the top. The only thing is, she didn't sew 3 buttons, she sewed 6 buttons. So we have to keep going. Let's cross off one more and show that on our number line. We've now crossed off 4, so we need another one and show that on our number line. That's 5, so we need one more. And there we go. We can see here on our number line that our answer is 7. So 13 take away 6 is 7. Lauren has 7 buttons left. Was that the method that you used? This time we're going to talk about subtraction of a missing amount. Let's read the story. Sam counted 16 birds. Some flew away. That's the missing amount. And now there are 9 birds. So, how many birds flew away? Well, let's begin by building the 16 on 10 frames. Here we have one 10 frame full with 10 counters, and a second 10 frame with 6 red counters. Altogether, 10 plus 6 is 16. Now, before we go any further, let's think about what calculation would we do. What's the number sentence? Well, it would look like this. 16 birds at the beginning, subtract some birds that flew away, will equal 9 birds that are left at the end. But in order to figure that out, that missing amount, it might be easier for us to also show a number line. Now on the number line, we're going to begin with 16. That's how many birds Sam counted at the beginning. We also know that after some of them flew away, it showed 9 birds remaining. So we need to look at what's the difference between 16 and 9. And how can we show that? Well, we could count one jump at a time all the way from 16 down to 9. Or we could do a little bit more efficient, a little bit faster method. We can look at subtracting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could subtract 6 all at once and go from 16 all the way down to 10 in one jump. That one jump from 16 to 10 was 6 red counters. But we can see we're not finished yet. We haven't arrived on the number 9. We need to remove one more red counter, which means we need to make one more jump on our number line. We can see here that the red arrow is 6, and one more blue arrow would tell us the difference, or the distance between 16 and 9. So we have one jump of 6 plus one more jump. And 6 plus 1 equals 7. So now we can see that the distance, or the difference between 16 and 9, is the amount that flew away. It's going to be 7. 16 subtract 7 equals 9. So how many birds flew away? 7 birds flew away. Well done. Okay, time for you to have a go. Here's your question. Sam counted 15 birds. Some flew away, and now there are 7 birds. How many birds flew away? Before you pause and have a go, remember to show your work. You can use drawings, and mostly I'd like you to try it on the number line. When you're ready to come back, we can compare answers. Okay, let's have a look. I'll show you how I drew it out. Here I have 2 10 frames, one filled with 10 blue birds and one with only 5 birds. That represents the 15 birds that Sam counted. I also have a number line. But before we go any further, what calculation would I use? I'd use 15 to represent the counted birds, subtract some, we don't know how many flew away, equals 7, the number of birds that were still there at the end. Now, let's begin on our number line. Our start point is 15, the number of birds that Sam counted. Now we know that some flew away, and eventually we need to get all the way down to the number 7. The first thing I did was show 5 birds flying away. Why? Because I'm going to show one jump on the number line, a jump of 5 all the way back to 10. But that's not enough. We have to get all the way back to the number 7, because that's how many birds are remaining. Let's try one jump of 1. Another bird goes away, and there's 2 and 3. And there we are. We're on the number 7. So those arrows show how many birds flew away. One jump of 5 and 3 more. 5, 6, 7, 8. We can see here that the number of birds that flew away is 8. That's how many birds flew away. 8 birds flew away. Well done. Is that how you showed it? Once again, we're going to pause and have a go. You know, practice is the only way we're going to get good at these strategies. So here are 3 questions. Each question is a little bit different. Sometimes the missing amount is the total. Sometimes the missing amount is how many went away or how many we began with. So think about each of these questions. See if you can work them out. Use the pictures of the ants as well as the number line at the bottom. Come back when you're ready. Okay, let's take a look. What did you get? How did you figure it out? The answers are 17 subtract 9 equals 8. And 17 take away 9 equals 8. And 17 take away 8 equals 9. Is that what you got? Were you able to show your work, both with pictures and on a number line? I hope so. It's really helpful when you show your work. And now we're at the end of this unit. Why don't you pause here and have a go at the worksheet? But if you don't have